Welcome to another That's What They Said, a podcast where we question the questionable lyrics of your favorite songs. Sarina&Scott Spinelli, talking Limp Bizkit, Nookie. Scott, did I just speak English?
None of those are American words. Those are the
Limp
English words that
Bizkit,
are.
Nookie.
Yeah. And biscuit, of course, spelled with a Z and a K.
Happy.
Yeah.
What? This is one of the most toxic cries for help, filled with like masculinity and hatred, like pumped, like lumped right on top of it.
And I'll just listen. I've dogged you many times in the past when you're the one who picks a song that sucks. I picked this song. I don't know why. I just thought it would be funny to talk about a song that's title is Nookie. But I'll wear this. I mean, I'll wear the low numbers of listeners if people are already tuning out. But yes, this was my pick.
This was a really wild song. Like, I'm going to say straight up observation as a kid who grew up in the Bronx. I felt like this song was for all the young white boys who loved hip hop, but couldn't necessarily identify with it.
I will push back on that as a young white boy.
See, I'm glad we have diversity on this podcast.
Yeah. As a young white boy who couldn't identify with hip hop, I still recognize that this was trash, right? Like, this to me was for people who like rock and roll, but had a foot in worlds otherwise musically, because it's like kind of rap. Like we discovered listening to this, right? One of his first singles, Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit, was just a cover of George Michael's "Faith," which is so awful. If you listen to it again, like with fresh ears, it's terrible. But also, they're not really singing. They're like doing that weird rap rock thing where people who can't sing but also can't rap, so they're in this ether where it's neither. You're not good at either of these things, and you're trying both.
That was his whole album.
That's everything.
That's who he is.
I also, for whatever reason, the artwork of their albums stuck out to me when I was looking at them again today. See, I wasn't a big fan of them. I don't know. I take it you weren't either.
They were on the radio, more on MTV.
The End Together Now with Method Man.
Oh, that was a good song.
That was a great song. I do think it's weird that like people will like kind of shit on that song when in reality it's like, listen, is it the coolest combination ever? No, but don't pretend like you don't like that song. It's a catchy song. It is. Like it's not Wu-Tang's highest mark that they did a song with Fred Durst.
No.
Yeah.
I remember now I'm like looking at the album cover, but you're right. Yeah, it was
this one looks familiar, and then the third album, it's like chocolate covered starfish and the hot dog flavored water, I think is the name of the album. And that cover and name always stuck with me as like very particular, obviously. But at any rate,
you're right. When the Limp Bizkit Fred Durst did that song with Method Man, I was like, okay, you cool.
Yeah, that song was great.
It was.
I just think it's weird how like people kind of dump on it when it's like, all right, we all can agree that we don't really like Limp Bizkit, and then also acknowledge that this song was cool. Like it was a cool song. Yeah.
I mean, anytime I think of Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit, I think of the backwards red Yankee fitted.
That's what this is. This music video for this song it's all in it. I will say too, I forgot how cool the intro is. Like that dun 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 dun. That whole thing is like, oh, wait a minute, is this gonna be a cool song? And then it starts going, and you're like, no, it's not.
Right. Incorrect. Yeah. For those that don't know this song, it's about an old girlfriend of Fred Durst who, cheated on her, whatever, betrayed him. When Durst was getting his career started in Los Angeles, he was sending money home to his girlfriend. And instead, she used the money to like treat herself. She had another dude on the side and, drugs, whatever. Treat yourself. That's basically
and hooking up with his friends. Apparently.
His friends, right? Which is, how dare you? Don't do that.
And honestly, like if this was a song that I wrote, my dad would say something like, "Well, at least he's got friends," like, like that's what that would be. Yeah. By the way, to fill that in for the listeners once more, that was a silent laugh from Sarina. Just trust me.
I have a problem with my laughs. I go, ha, and then it's silent. But I'm still laughing.
Just hear me awkwardly laughing at my own joke.
Basically, to know anytime on this podcast moving forward, if there's silence, someone is laughing in the background, which sounds really creepy especially because you're wearing a Joker shirt that kind of
my frail former comedian ego can't handle that level of silence after a joke. I just can't handle it. So that's all what it is. Anyway,
glad we're doing this podcast. Yes. Okay. So yes, Limp Bizkit, American rap rock band, their first single from their second album, Significant Other, was released June 15th of 1999. This song, Nookie, hit 80 on the Billboard Top 100. Decent.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad.
I always now look up like how it did in other countries because now I'm fascinated. Right. Australia, number 13, 36 in the Netherlands, 33 in New Zealand. Like, way to go, guys.
Well, also apparently it did very well on like the alt rock charts in the US, right? So it did do well in its own genre. And 80 overall for a song that I think objectively is bad. Like, you know, that's not bad overall. Yeah.
You think he was like upset because you could clearly see he was like leaning towards, I'm trying to just do more hip hop, but then it just still got pushed into rock. You think Fred Durst like, I'm trying to just get there.
Well, that's the thing, is that like I feel like in rap he wouldn't have. He's that weird, and I know we're referring to a group as a he, but like he is that weird thing where he was never going to be a good enough rapper, and he's clearly not a good enough singer to be a good rock and roll artist, right? Like, so he has to exist. He's like the worst version of a rock and roll Drake, right? Like he's, you know what I mean? He's neither a singer nor a great rapper, but he's pretty good at them both a little. But you know what I mean? Like it's what are you exactly? And you kind of have to exist in this middle ground that isn't anything.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they were huge for a moment. I mean, you know, they had a run.
Limp Bizkit had a run. Funny, I read the guitarist Wes Borland, and we talk about the music video in a bit, but that's the one with the creepy contact lens eyes that you think is dead. He did say the music was cool, but he didn't like the lyrics at all. Nookie was actually a working title. Here's my Denver Nug for you. In the studio, there was a porn magazine that had the word Nookie on the cover. And so they were like, hey, let's call it Nookie. And Wes Borland was like, I didn't think they would actually run with it. And so he takes it as his own fault that the song is called Nookie.
So was Nookie a term we knew before that, or I get the sense that Nookie was a term, but then this like really blew it up as a
probably term. Bigger in England than in the US. Yeah. And then there was, thank goodness for that porn magazine that all taught us what Nookie actually was.
I mean, in fairness, I was 13 when this song came out, so I wasn't like aware of many sex slang terms. You know what I mean? Like,
no, right.
It wasn't like I was like, you know what I mean? So like, I might have known a sex term or even just the word sex.
Word sex, yeah.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Nookie means sex.
Hey, can you imagine somehow getting this far into this podcast? What are they going to tell us what the song means?
What does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah. All right, let's get to the lyrics. I found the lyrics to be very poetic until he said, I did it all for the Nookie.
Okay. I mean, poetic is strong, to be fair, but I was going to start right off the top where he goes, look into these eyes, right? When he does that line.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is the Wes, whatever that dude's eyes.
Dude,
like,
he has no eyes. I don't want to ever look at his
eyes. Yeah. He has no eyes.
What eyes are there? There's no white.
I sometimes have nightmares about that guy's eyes. I mean,
I literally just looked him back up. Like if you Google Wes Borland right now.
Not doing it. Yeah.
What a name too.
Wes Borland. His name is Wes Borland?
Yes. W-E-S.
Well, because there was a first baseman in Major League Baseball. His name was Wes Moreland. That sounds like, you know, like he checked into a hotel under a fake name and he just changed his first. You know what I mean? Like your name is Sarina&Scott. Like that's.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a choice. You're making a choice, right?
Yes.
I believe he was also in Marilyn Manson's group at one point, which not surprised.
That tracks. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like, the red Yankee hat is a choice, one that I don't quite agree with, but like my dad in our house growing up was the Yankees wear one hat. You know, there were no green Yankee hats. He'd rather you be a Mets fan than wear a non-blue Yankees hat.
Traditional. I hear you.
But no, so did you have a specific lyric you wanted to pull as we get going here?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's It's not classy at all. I mean, I did it all for the Nookie, so you can take that cookie and stick it up your repeated 3 times. I mean, this is straight Shakespeare. This is exactly.
Okay, well, hold on. First off, so I went back and I looked. I wanted to see if there was an explicit version that said "shove it up your ass." Right?
Yeah.
There isn't, at least not that I could find. The explicit version where they do curse in the other parts, it still says "shove it up your right?
Oh, very nice.
So that's odd, I guess. But additionally, I guess
you know what it is. You know what I mean. We might not know what Nookie means, but we definitely know what "shove it up your means.
I just hate the cookie part. Take that. Why can't he just say? So you can take that and shove it up your Why does he have to say cookie?
Because it rhymes.
I know, but it's idiotic. It doesn't make any sense.
He's trying to be a rapper. That's why he had to do the rock rap genre.
It's moronic. That song works if he just says, and so you can take it and shove it up your shove it up your he doesn't need to say. Right? Why does he say? Why does he? Yeah, I don't know. I hate that.
So you can take that cookie. I'm like, well, I would eat a cookie.
I'm not taking it. First of all, that's disgusting to take a cookie and shove it up your ass. I mean, that's vile. Yeah, it's dirty.
You're wasting food.
Yes. And I have to tell you, the way that the cookie industry has progressed, some of these cookies are enormous. So that would not be that'd be painful.
You'd have to who knows?
Yeah. But
all right.
moving on from that, I did think the little pre-chorus where he says "like a chump" 10 times, didn't need that. You know what I mean? Just maybe 1 like a chump, 2 like a chump.
That was for the mosh pits. Those were like a chump, like a chump. I mean, that's just for that to me.
Did not need that. I would have 1 like a chump would have sufficed personally.
He felt really, really low at this point. He's like, nope, still feel like a chump. Let me repeat it. Do I still feel like a chump? Yes, I do. Also, who uses the word chump? What a dated word.
Well,
you're a chump.
To that point, when he said the line where he goes, but I'm like a sucker, the line where he goes, but I'm a sucker, like I said, fucked up in the head, not, that joke is so corny. Chump is played out. Whenever when somebody would say I had a good time tonight, not. I hate that. I hate it at the time. I hate it now. I will hate it forever. We can be recording this podcast when we're both in our 90s. Doing Shawn Mendes' grandson's songs, and I will still hate that not punchline. I hate it. I hate it.
That's what they said. Not.
Just so bad. It's so bad.
Also, love that you just pulled, of any artist you could think of off the top of your head, Shawn Mendes came to your head first.
I just figured Shawn Mendes is young, and then if he's, his grandkids, could you imagine us at 96? You're just sitting there, just, welcome back to episode 4,702, year 72. We're still looking for a sponsor. We're just plugging ahead here.
Yeah.
Both of us are
like chumps.
Yeah, like chumps.
Oh man. The lyric, why did it take so long? Why did I wait so long to figure it out? But I did, and I'm the only one underneath the sun who didn't get it. I actually thought, and I'm maybe giving him way too much credit here, but it reminded me of that Icarus reference, the myth of the son and the father, and Icarus ignoring his father's warnings. He flew too close to the sun and fell. I know. What was I taking when I prepared for this podcast?
You're comparing this to take it easy.
for anyone that knows that, remember, but I was underneath the sun who didn't get it. I was oh, I didn't see the warnings. I think I might be giving him too much credit. Had I wrote this song, maybe there'd be a little more depth here. Maybe it was just I'm burning. I'm underneath the sun and I'm burning. I don't know.
See, my takeaway from that lyric, because I sort of wrote that as well. My big thing with that lyric was how is it possible that everyone knew besides him? It's what was the song we did? The Panic at the Disco song that we did. I apologize. I didn't have the proper.
The waiters knew. The waiters knew.
Exactly, right? In this song, it's your girlfriend who you were sending money to knew all about it. Mm-hmm. Her friends knew all about it. She was sleeping with all your friends. She was stealing your money. And somehow you had no idea this was going on. It's I didn't realize how much Fred Durst was admitting he got played and was a loser, essentially, in this song.
Yeah, he is numero uno loser chump 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 times 50.
Yeah.
He feels pretty bad. And it's
good.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the one verse or lyric that I feel like, okay, I can appreciate you, is when he's like, I'm only human. It's so easy for your friends to give you their advice, but it's easier said than done. I appreciate it. I do, but just leave me alone. Because to me, if you're going through a breakup or something, I get annoyed with people giving advice that they don't take themselves, one. And I don't like idealistic advice at all. Like, just be real. Hey, I'm really sorry. This sucks. Like, holler if you need a drinking buddy. I will find you some therapists. Like, I don't need to be like, everything's going to be okay. And so I appreciate this lyric, and will save it for anyone that like annoys me one day. I'm like, I don't want to hear your positivity right now. Just let me be sorrowful for a freaking week.
Well, can I just take a detour off of the song to comment on what you just said for a second? Yeah, I will say, as someone who is negative and has made his life sort of in misery, one thing I need to be better at is accepting joy into my life, right? However, when something actually isn't bad, like I'll give you an example, right? Like I bought a pair of basketball shorts that don't fit and I have to return them, and you would have thought my entire like the roof on my house caved in. That's how upset I was that I had to return something. It's as simple as just packaging it back. It's really not a big deal, right? But in my mind, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
When someone says to you, like, don't worry about it, it's not going to be a big deal. About that, it's like, yeah, you're right. But when something actually bad happens, like really bad, and someone goes, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's like, you don't know that.
Right.
Like, stop saying that.
I might die tomorrow. Go F off.
Yeah, like there's a time and a place for everything's going to be fine. And I sometimes don't welcome that in enough. I get that. But like when people say it, when it's just like, it's like, so-and-so just like, I'm trying to think of something like, I don't know, like really bad news that you get. And you're like, someone's like, I'm sure it'll work out. It's like
death or cheating or I mean, you don't know that. You got fired from a job. You'll find another job. You don't know. Do you know how much money, how much I have saved? Like unemployment? I don't know.
Actually, one more pet peeve before we go here. I lost my wallet recently, and you know where I'm going to go with this. What is the first thing someone says to you when you lose something?
Where was the last place?
Yeah, where was the last place? Like if I knew where the last place it was,
I wouldn't have a freaking wallet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be lost. I would go there and get it. That's how losing things works. I don't need you to tell me the obvious thing of, hey, do you remember where you last had it? First of all, no. And second of all, wouldn't be lost. That's not how losing things works.
There probably are a handful of people in the world that do need to hear that, because they're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought about it.
I don't think I'm one of those people.
You're not. I would hold that for someone else. Although the other day I was sitting watching Sunday Night Football at a bar, and there was this like a water container that, like, instead of the bartender having to deal with people asking for water, there was one on the side. And I was sitting right by it. And every, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, someone comes over, the water wouldn't pour. So you had to tilt the water container over, right? Logical sense. I'm about to crap on some people who live in LA here as a New Yorker who is, I don't know, I give myself the street smart status.
I would say that.
I'm watching people use their heads and tip it over and try and get extra water, use gravity. It's basic knowledge. These two kids who maybe just got out of high school, maybe they're like freshmen, sophomores in college. I'm going to give them the young side of things, but the two of them are sitting down. Kid goes up to get water, turns the faucet on, no water comes out, turns it off, doesn't tip it over, and goes back down to sit by his friend. He goes, there's no water. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you like, how could you be that dumb? How could you not try and tip it over, go to the bartender and go, hey, there's no more water in the container. I mean, figure it out. So that guy, I do think, needs to hear, where was the last place you put your wallet? I know we just went way sideways, but it drives me crazy. Oh, God.
No, I have no comments. I agree. That person would drive me nuts.
Welcome to LA. Yeah. I was like, this is impressive. All right. So all that said, do you want to talk briefly about the video? I really just want to say that the guitarist, that's when I first saw black contact lenses.
I didn't like that. Okay, real quick about contact lenses. As a kid, I have brown eyes and brown hair. Super boring, right? As a kid, I wanted to put contact lenses in my eyes to make my eyes blue. I don't think that would even work because my eyes are too dark. But like I thought that I would look cooler if I could. Obviously, I didn't try it, but I was terrified of even touching my eyeballs. That's why I still wear these guys. But when I saw those, I was like, this is what I wanted to do, gone horribly wrong. Like,
I didn't think he even got there.
No, it's horrible. Yeah, I didn't like it. I still thinking about it now gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I need to X his photo out of my Google search, like creepy. The only thing I really noted outside of the red baseball Yankee fitteds, there were no people of color in this music video at all.
Not surprised to hear that.
I was like, whoa, like, yeah, there's none of us there. And then at the end, he gets arrested for no reason. And I was like,
disturbing the peace. I mean, honestly, you saw the Woodstock video documentary, right?
No, I need to, you keep referring to that. I'm like, oh, yeah. No, I haven't watched it.
It's good. He's in it. Watch it. And you can count on one hand how many people that don't look like me are in that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like.
You got final thoughts?
If this song, I heard somebody, hold on. Oh man. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Someone had a great, just like a little a blurb about this song. And it was, it said, it was from one of the reviews. It said, hang on. Stereo Gum said, aside from the infantile lyrics, the awful rapping and the yelling, it's really not that bad of a song. And I was like, right. Actually right. That's quite right. Yeah.
That seems accurate. All right. Well, that's what we'll end this podcast. Another episode of That's What They Said. Not. We'll see you next time.